Did you know that an untreated lice infestation can cause way more problems than just itching? In this heartbreaking case that I'm going to share with you guys, a 9-year-old girl from Tucson, Arizona lost her life due to lice. So we're going to unpack what happened, why it happened, and how we can prevent this from happening again. And you're watching Lice with Francis, where we help families conquer their lice issues with compassion, knowledge, and also practical tips. This incident took place on March 22nd, 2022 at around 2:30 a.m. The fire department responded to a call. The mom called in and said that her child was non-responsive and that she needed their help. The paramedics did everything that they could, but she was pronounced deceased on the scene. When the police got on the scene, they immediately noticed that these people were living in horrible conditions. It was completely unlivable, and that is the first thing they noticed. And then when they took a look at the body, unfortunately, they noticed that the girl was covered in bugs. Her face completely was covered in bugs. And then they looked a little bit closer and they realized, wait a minute, this is lice. Her face was completely covered with lice. Court records later describe enormous amount of lice in the girl's hair. They also said that it was in her siblings' hair as well. They were also extremely infested. Now, they claim that the mother who was living there and the grandmother who was living there did not have it. I find that hard to believe. Lice can be very hard to see to the average person. That's why it's best to get checked by a professional. There are oftentimes people are checked by just a regular person, even a doctor and a nurse. Sometimes they miss it as well. But places that, like my lice treatment place, we are professionals. We see it every single day. And so we can definitely let you know if you have it or not. Oftentimes we've had people come to us who were misdiagnosed by a school nurse or sometimes even a doctor. And that's because they don't see it every day like we do. So I find it hard to believe that the mom and grandma didn't have it. I just feel like there's no way when this case was that severe. I do want to say, as a lice professional, it's so rare that lice will kill someone, but it can definitely happen, especially when it's untreated. Most people don't allow this go untreated like this. I would assume that maybe these people were either something could have been mentally wrong or all of the above. It could have been addiction going on or financially, maybe they just couldn't afford to treat it. I'm not sure what the situation was, but I do know that something had to be going on. I believe that the parents and the mother and the grandmother, they both missed a lot of warnings. Apparently, the child had been sick for at least a week, vomiting, high fever, headaches, and even trouble breathing. An autopsy determined that the 9-year-old passed away from an untreated lice infestation that caused anemia, and they also said that malnutrition was a contributing factor. The police found text messages between the mother and her boyfriend, and they were going back and forth about her child being sick all this time. And he's telling her, please go to the hospital. But she was responding with, no, I'm not going to the hospital because she has lice and I don't want them to see this. And so, therefore, I'm not taking her. But you can see the boyfriend telling her, take her regardless. You have to take her. If she's vomiting, she could barely even stand up. They said that she even lost her balance, right? She could barely walk. He said, take her now. Like, you need to take her. But she did not listen. And because of her not listening, it resulted in her child losing her life. Now, just imagine you're not taking them because of the lice, but they still had to come out. They still saw the lice. So you could have saved her life on top of everyone's going to see it regardless. But I guess she just wasn't thinking. And maybe she didn't think that it would go to this, that this would happen. I don't know what she thought was going to happen. I don't know if she thought she was just going to automatically get better by herself, because that doesn't happen. Speaking of just getting better by herself, I thought it would be a good place for me to just note this for anyone who has this question, because we get this all the time in our office. But people always ask us, does the lice just get better on its own if you don't treat it? Does it just go away? And the answer to that is absolutely not. There's no way it's going to get better by doing nothing, okay? It can only get worse. And by doing nothing, you can end up like this little girl. Your child or you yourself can end up like this little girl. And they also found text messages from the little girl's grandmother texting the mom. I guess when the mom wasn't home, she would be texting her saying, hey, she needs to go to the hospital. She is so sick. She's falling everywhere and things like that. And she was like, but I can't take her. We're not going to take her because of the lice. Like, she can't go in there like that. And so I believe that they ended up charging the mother and the grandmother because they both neglected the child. So fast forward to February 6th, 2024, Sandra pled guilty to manslaughter and 2 counts of child abuse. And she was sentenced to 10 years in prison and 10 years probation. In October 2023, the grandmother pled guilty to manslaughter, and she received 7 years probation and community service. And apparently, they said in the courtroom that Sandra, the mother, she had some type of intellectual disabilities. So that may be why they allowed this to go on for so long. But they said no matter what, you're still going to be held accountable for what you did for the neglect. That is the reason why she was sentenced the way that she was. So this tragedy was not caused by lice alone. It was also caused by fear, stigma, and inaction. Lice, treatable. Anemia, treatable. But ignoring symptoms just out of embarrassment, that can be fatal, okay? And that's exactly what happened in this situation. Don't get so embarrassed that you do nothing about it, okay? Remember, your child's life and your life, if it's you, is way more important than embarrassment. These people don't know you. They have no idea who you are. You're going to go in that place, okay? You're going to get it treated, get it taken care of, and then go on with your life. She could have just taken her daughter in. They'll never see her again. Yeah, they probably would have called CPS or something like that, and rightfully so. But the child would still be here today. So never be ashamed to ask for help. If your child is sick, seek medical attention, okay? And then in the meantime, treat the lice. Don't just let it sit there and do nothing about it. I've had people come into my office who really thought that it would just go away, or they just tried several treatments and they could never fully get rid of it. And so they completely stopped treating. And whenever you do that, it just gets so bad, you guys, and it's just not worth it. So I advise to at least treat, even if you're not getting rid of it totally. Never let it get like this, okay? So if you're struggling with lice, reach out to someone, get help. You can even call your local lice treatment places and figure out how you can get treated, if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, see what kind of options they have. Sometimes they have discounts for various reasons. Sometimes they will just give you a little bit of information over the phone. Just don't let your child suffer like this, okay? I think it said in here the mom, she tried some crazy life methods and then she just gave up. I know I remember one of them was for sure mouthwash, but she also tried some other things that were pretty dangerous. And I did a video about that if you want to check it out. Even someone tried gasoline and things like that, okay? I've heard the craziest things, even motor oil, okay? And no, it doesn't work. And just remember that life can be treated, but a life cannot be replaced, okay? So go see someone if you're having an issue, okay? Buy some lice products and treat it, okay? If you're having some issues. And remember to share this video, like the video, comment, and subscribe to this channel so that you can see when I upload another video. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video.